What's up, everybody? You are now tuning into the In Love with Horror podcast. We're your hosts. I'm AJ.
And I'm Kristie. Join us for a love affair with all things horror as we explore the world of horror films, games, and everything in between.
All right, today, y'all, we got another great episode. We're going to be discussing, of course, new trailers that dropped this week, with one being a really big one that everybody has been waiting for, and that's Five Nights at Freddy's. And then we're going to jump into our news. A couple of good news topics this week, including the Saw 10 logo got released, and then some information about when we'll see the trailer and more info and details about the film. And then we'll jump into our main topic for this episode, which will be giving our thoughts, reaction, and review of the movie called The Sadness. This is a movie that's been making waves online right now. It's a zombie Taiwanese body horror film. It's like extreme violence and gore is crazy. So we'll be giving our thoughts about that. And then at the end of the episode, of course, we're going to be concluding our From Season 2 reactions that we've been doing each week with the season finale finally hit. And we're going to give you our thoughts about that. If you've been tuned into our TikTok, of course, you've already seen what I thought, but you get to hear what Kristie thinks about that too. But before all that, let's get into what we watched this week. And I'll start off with you, baby. What'd you watch?
Yeah, so I kept it light this week, which is abnormal for me.
Yeah, because you had a whole bunch of stuff last time. I was like, good Lord, you had too much time.
Anyways, I attempted to watch this series called Slasher on AMC. But I just couldn't get into it. I didn't even finish the first episode. I wanted to like it. Like the detective in this episode was like, he a black man. He had locks, and I was like all for it, but I just couldn't get into it. So that was a DNF for me. And then I watched a horror short on YouTube by Alter called Skin and Bone. And it's only been out for a couple weeks, but it had what's the actress name? Amanda Seyfried? Yeah, she's in it. And I was like, you know what? Back I've been watching Alter's videos since like forever, and then they got like big name actors and actresses in it. So, but it's that one was really good. It wasn't super scary, but it was still very intriguing. It had a very intriguing story. It's basically about like this lady who has like this farm, and she had a job opening for someone to help out, and the guy comes out, tries to get the job. She hires him. Some creepy stuff starts happening. And then there's like a weird twist at the end. But definitely worth checking out. So I would encourage you also, baby, to go watch it because I think you'll like it. It was good.
Okay, yeah, I might check that out. Yeah, I love the horror shorts that are on Alter. We haven't always kept up with them like perfectly.
Right. Yeah.
Over the years, but we've definitely seen some good ones. I'm going to check that one out. Okay, yeah, good. Some good stuff this week, babe. This week I watched the movie Bones and All, and that was really good. I was actually pleasantly surprised by this one. Just to give you some information about the movie, if you're not familiar, it's directed by Luca. I'm gonna butcher this. Guadagnino, and of course they did the movie Call Me by Your Name. They also did. I didn't know this until recently. He's the one that did the remake of Suspiria. And that remake I thought was actually really good. I almost like the remake of Suspiria more than the original, to be honest. That I thought was like a work of art. But Bones and All stars Timothée Chalamet, Taylor Russell, and it's it's one of those movies where I almost feel like I don't want to say what it's about, because I feel like if it's one of those movies, like if you just go right into it, right? Like, yeah, you don't even know. You just think it's like this drama movie, and then the way it like pops off, you're just like, dang, like I did not know that's coming. And I'm trying to pull up the synopsis for this to see how they write it. Let's see. Let me read this. Let me read the synopsis they have on Google. Let me look it up real quick, because I wonder if they kind of.
I've heard good things about it. I think it was a book too, right? I think so.
Okay, so here's the synopsis on Google, which doesn't really give away a whole lot, but it says, love blossoms between a young woman on the margins of society and a disenfranchised drifter as they embark on a 3,000-mile odyssey through the backroads of America. However, despite their best efforts, all roads lead back to their terrifying past and a final stand that will determine whether their love can survive their differences. And I feel like that's all you really need to know. Just know that it's the movie can be graphic at times. You know what I'm saying? It deals with like crazy subject matter, but like I promise you, like if you go into it not really knowing what to expect, I feel like the shock value will just give you like that extra like, oh, I would, because even I kind of had an idea of what it was about, but even still I was like, oh, I did not know that like it was going this way. But I will tell you that it's a great movie. If you like Luca's other works, you really enjoy this film. It's a very beautiful film, very artistic, great camera work. Even like the color grading of the movie is very like, almost has this like desaturated feel to it very slightly, because it's not a very bright movie. Like at one point I was watching, I was like, is my TV brightness turned up? I had to check the backlight settings, because I was like, it feels kind of dark, but it's very intentional because it's a very dark movie, and it's represented through the camera work and the color grading and all that. But I really enjoyed this movie. It was really good. It had me locked in like the whole way through. And it's the movie is a lot, but the whole like love story and the drama of it and how it all plays out, like it'll keep you locked and tuned in. And the kind of main thing about this movie that you'll learn very quickly what it's about, that main aspect will keep you intrigued, because you'll start to learn like what it means, how it works, and things like that. Like it's crazy. Like y'all got to check it out, baby. You definitely got to watch it. So I think that you will. Yeah, I think you really enjoy it too, and you'll be kind of taken aback by some of the stuff too, especially considering the fact we watched the sadness and that graphicness. Now this movie ain't that graphic, you know what I mean? But it still's got some graphic moments. No, it ain't that bad. It ain't all. It happens, but it ain't all the time with this movie. But yeah, that was Bones and all. I really liked it. Check out that film; it's a good one. And this is one I didn't really know about. I think you knew about it, but I wasn't tracking. I didn't know about it at all. I just happened to be on Amazon. It was on MGM Plus. That's where I saw it at. And I was like, oh yeah, Bones and all, because I think I heard you mention it before.
Yeah, because it was mentioned in the Fangoria Awards. That's
yep, that's what it was. Yep, that's what it was. Yeah, and I was like, I don't even know what that is, but I know now, and it's a good one. Check it out. All right, but that's what we watched this week, y'all. Definitely go check out those films, TV shows, and shorts when you can. Some good stuff. And now we're jumping to the trailers that we watched or that came out this week. We'll start off with the biggest one, the one everyone's been talking about, the one that got, that was trending on YouTube, got a ton of views, and that is the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer. We finally got the full official trailer. It was 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Right now, it's sitting at over 16 million views. I know. That's I think insane. The first day, it had within a few hours, that junk was at 2.5, 3 million or something like that.
Wow,
people was waiting for this thing. But just to give my initial thoughts, hey, make sure you follow us on TikTok, because I put out my thoughts on there as well when it first dropped. But the overall, I really like the overall look of the film, and it seems like they're gonna maintain a lot of the core aspects of the game within the movie too. Even some of the way some of the objects and things are set up within the movie, like how he sees the animatronics on the TV screens, exact same camera angles in the game. That was cool. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of Easter eggs in the movie. Looks like we're gonna get a lot of cameos, because that was super cool seeing Corey Kenshin in the taxi at the end. I didn't even think about the fact that they would probably do that, because the success of the game was mainly due to a lot of streamers, playing it on YouTube and Twitch and all that. So it's cool that Scott, I think his name's Scott Cawthon, who's the original creator of the game, he's also helping write and produce the movie. Apparently he had made calls to get at least Corey Kenshin. I don't know if any other YouTubers would be involved to be at least a part of the movie, because they kind of helped make it as big as it is today. But the movie looks good. It has that that kind of comedic vibe. It's from it's from Blumhouse, right? So they did Megan, which I felt Megan was a horror movie, but also not really. It was very comedic in tone. It had some violent moments, some very minimal jump scares, but that's the kind of vibe that I got from it, which isn't bad, considering the target audience, like they already know kids are obsessed with this movie, so they're going to want to watch it too, because they can't make it like gory and all that, you know. But I mean, I thought it looked good though. Like I thought the animatronics looked good, like the effects look good. I think there will be. You already know they're gonna have to do a sequel, so I'm sure going to be some good lore aspects, you know, within the movie tying into future releases. But I don't know. I think the trailer did good for me. I think it made me more excited for it. But what do you think, Beth?
Well, I'm not a Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I watched it with our 6-year-old, so he was super hype about it.
Oh yeah.
He recognized the YouTuber at the end. He was like, "Oh, it's Corey, whatever." I don't know his name, but I was like, "Yeah, that's him." Like,
they know what they're doing with that one. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They know how to play the marketing. They know this kids is watching.
For sure. I agree with you. What you were saying. It's kind of got like a little bit of like the comedic feel, so it's not like super scary, which is good. I think because of the audience. But I think it has enough where, you know, all ages of people who enjoy Five Nights at Freddy's would get some kind of enjoyment out of the movie. Yep. It was good seeing Shaggy.
Yep.
Back to you hearing up there. Even though it was brief. But yeah, I'm not super excited about it, but the trailer looked cool. I'm gonna go. My son gonna want to go.
He's gonna. He gonna want to go. That's for sure.
He been talking about it ever since it came out. Like,
yeah,
legit. We went to the zoo today. He was talking about it then.
Yep.
So he hyped for it, and I'm like, it's all in October. He's like, yep. How much longer is till October?
Gotta wait for Halloween. It's a Halloween release.
Yep.
And it's coming out on October 27th, y'all. And another cool thing, and I'm sure they did this because of the kid factor, is that it's coming to theaters and Peacock on the same day. I'm sure it'll probably be like one of those like Peacock premium purchases, like you got to pay that premium price above on top of the subscription. But I'm sure they did that because they, you know, families are going to want to watch this with their kids, and then also, the kids are going to want to watch it more than one time. So yes. Like what I think when you do the premium, but it's only like it only, you know, I think it's only like a certain amount of time that you can watch it, or something like that. So, hey, I think they know what they're doing, because a lot of people were like, oh, it's going to hurt the box office, but I think it's smart, because they know that kids are going to want to watch this over and over again. The parents going to be forced to buy this shit repeatedly. So they know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, y'all, Five Nights at Freddy's, man. That official trailer drop. Looking forward to it on October 27th in theaters and on Peacock. Now, the next trailer that dropped this week is a film called The Dive. And it's, you know, interesting time frame, considering, you know, what we got in the news with the, you know, the whole, you know, tragedy that happened with the Titanic submersible. You know, rest in peace to everyone who was, you know, on that submersible. But it's weird timing that now we were getting this underwater horror movie called The Dive, and I'll read y'all the description for this film. So the movie is, here we go, synopsis. A dive at one of the world's most remote spots becomes a fight to the death for sisters Drew, played by Lowe, and May, played by Krause, when a landslide sends rocks tumbling into the sea, trapping May in the depths. As her oxygen runs low, Drew must make life and death decisions with no outside help in sight. And decently length trailer here, and you know, I thought visually it looks pretty good. Like, I do wonder, like, story-wise, like how it's going to play out, because they had moments where she was like, you know, the friend gets stuck underwater. She only got like 20 minutes of oxygen left. And then the other friend gets out of the water. She's running around. She's looking for help. And like, I guess I'm just wondering like how the story would develop. Because I don't know. There's something about the way she was running around in the trailer. I'm just kind of like, what are you doing? Like, where are you going?
Yeah.
And she was
there's
like,
no one around.
She was saying something in the trailer like, don't think, or something like that. Or I don't know. I was just kind of like, it made me feel like they're trying to like heighten the intensity by her running and try to find help. And I don't know if like weird things or like other things would happen in the midst of her trying to find help that would just create more like thriller type of plot points. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. I feel kind of indifferent about it. I think I would check it out just because the concept is different. But I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on the trailer. What do you think, Beth?
Yeah, I agree. The concept is definitely different because, initially going in, you're thinking they're both going to be stuck underwater or they're going to, she's going to be trying to get her out. And then my thing is, if she only has 20 minutes of air, what else is going to be happening in the movie to make it like, a feature-length movie?
Yeah, especially because that lady, like, she was running far. Like, she was running crazy. But I'm like, you only got 20 minutes. You're sprinting like 3 miles. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And then also the friend is trying to escape herself. She's trying to help herself. I don't know. Yeah. I'm interested in seeing it play out as well. But the trailer looked pretty decent to me.
Yeah, it does look good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm interested in seeing how it comes together.
Okay. Yeah, and this one again, y'all, is called The Dive. It's going to be coming out in theaters. I don't know. I'm assuming it's probably going to be a limited release, I'm guessing.
Probably.
On August 25th. So make sure you go check out that trailer and see if you'd be interested in checking it out. Now, the next trailer that we got is for a digital and video on demand title called The Passenger. And I'll read you the synopsis for this one. Randy, played by Johnny Birchtold, is perfectly content fading into the background. But when his coworker Benson, played by Kyle Gallner, goes on a sudden and violent rampage, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake, Randy is forced to face his fears and confront his troubled past to survive. Now, this trailer, I actually really like this one.
You just like it because you like that dude.
Well, I like yeah. So Kyle Gallner is the same dude. We talked about him last week, I think, actually, because he was in another movie.
Yes, we did.
He getting movies, man. That Smile got him some movies. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. He did good in Smile. He played the cop in Smile. I remember Joel. I love Smile. That's a great horror movie right there.
We know.
Anyway, he is in this movie, but no, I like it because it just looks crazy. Like it looks I think it's going to be very extreme and graphic in nature.
Yeah.
Especially he just like he going on a rampage, just killing folks, and I guess like trying to get this person to get out of their shell or confront their past or whatever the case may be. I think it's going to be a very interesting movie. I think it's going to be probably a hard watch. But I think it has potential to have some really good performances and just an overall like interesting plot. But yeah, I mean, I just think it looks crazy. To me, that's the big draw. I was like, what the heck? I don't think I've ever seen a movie like this. And this is an interesting concept too, especially when, he's telling them that it looked like the character that Kyle Gallner plays like shoots up the place he works at, but he left, Randy alive because of the fact that he's like super timid or whatever you were saying. And I don't know, man, it's just crazy. Like, and it just looks interesting coming from Paramount as well. Paramount and Blumhouse. But what do you think, Beth?
I'm obviously not as into this one as you are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I'll be watching this one.
You say you're gonna skip
I'll let you have this one. I don't think I'm gonna skip this one.
I'll watch it and then I'll let you know. I'll tell you about it and see if you can handle it.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. But this one, like I said, it's a digital and video on demand on August 4th. And then at a later date, it'll come on the MGM Plus. And this was an MGM Plus original, right? Am I tripping?
I'm not sure, actually.
I'm trying to remember if we're getting this confused with it. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, it is. This movie is a MGM Plus original film. I actually didn't even realize they had original films until I went on their service because, obviously we both had subscribed to it to watch from. But I never really browsed the service. And the other day I noticed that they had short films from Blumhouse on there, like original MGM content. Yeah, I got to check that out. I don't know if it's any good, but at some point it will come to MGM Plus as well. But that movie is called The Passenger. Give that trailer a full watch to see if that's something that y'all would want to check out. Moving on to the last, quote unquote, trailer that we got. This is actually a clip, and it's from a movie that we've talked about recently called Cobweb. That's coming. That's got Anthony Starr in it from The Boys. But this clip features the family kind of. It's the mom and the dad and the son, and they're in the kitchen. And in the clip, the mom mentions that the son, sorry for that background, somebody going ham with their car, setting off car alarms. Or a motorcycle. It's so loud it set off the car alarms. They tripping out there. But anyway, they're all in the kitchen. The mom says the son drew a picture of the child calling for help, and the dad, gets really pissed off. And the performances there look like crazy, man. Anthony Starr gonna be wild in this one, and it's super vague and mysterious. You don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But they even make a comment of like, oh, the son hurt somebody or something like that. Like, it's super weird. And they end up sending him to the basement. But I thought the clip looked good. I think it just got me more. You see that fly buzzing around?
I saw it.
Yeah, okay. I was trying not to like look crazy on the camera, trying to swat it away. For our listeners on the podcast, there's a fly that's buzzing around because we're recording this on video as well. There's a fly buzzing around like right in front of my face.
He want to be on the podcast too,
right? Yeah, he's like, look, I want to get my thoughts on this Cobweb. But I thought the clip looked good. I think it just made me more intrigued to check this movie out when it does come out. What do you think about the clip, though?
Okay, so I have a couple things to say about the clip. All right, so obviously I told you about this movie. I was very interested in it, right? Mm-hmm. It looks super creepy.
Yeah.
And it did. You don't know what's going on, which intrigues me more because I feel like in the trailer, whatever the tone or the vibes that was set in the trailer, I feel like it's a little bit different than kind of what the story was kind of like relaying in that clip. So now I'm like even more like, ooh, what's really going on type of thing. Because I don't know. So it does make me more invested in wanting to watch it. Second point. Now, last week we talked about Black horror films, right?
Yep.
And I shared that one of my favorite horror films was Tales from the Hood, which is the very first movie that really got me into horror, right? Well, one of the anthologies in that movie, there's a boy who's being abused by his father, and he's drawing pictures at school, and he draws his father as a monster, and then he the teacher, notices his drawings, and that's what makes him want to come to the school, right. Come to their house to kind of figure out what's going on. So, in my mouth, like, they stole that from Tales from the Hood.
They've been selling Black movies for a long time. I'll tell you that right now.
Yes, because when she said, "Oh, he drew a picture asking for help," I was like, "They done stole that from daggone Tales from the Hood."
That's interesting.
But
it's probably not the exact same. He just, I think.
I know it's not the exact same because, like I told you, he drew in his picture. He drew his dad as a monster,
right?
So that part was different, but the whole drawing something at school, and then that in turn makes the teacher invested because that's what happened in the trailer, right? The teacher is trying to figure out what's going on at home. So anyway, I just thought it was a little suspect.
It is a little bit. You're right about that.
But I'm still gonna see it though because it does look really good.
Yeah, I think it does look good. It looks really interesting, and it makes you want to know, like, okay, what's going on in this movie? That's why I gotta watch it. But that movie's coming out in theaters, y'all, on July 21st. So make sure you check that one out. Well, that wraps up our trailer portion of the podcast. Now we'll jump into the news that came out this week, and we'll start off with news about Saw 10. So they dropped the official logo for Saw 10, and it kind of looks like what you'd expect the Saw logo to look like. Is Saw with the Roman numeral X, like Roman numeral 10. Like it ain't nothing like crazy. It's what you expect.
Right. Yeah.
But they did give some more information about when we could possibly see more and learn more about the movie. So first off, I think, and it was already mentioned before that Tobin Bell was coming back. That's the person that played Jigsaw. That's super hype because that's one of the main draws for the old movies was his performance. But they talked about that the film will be making an appearance at Midsummer Scream, which is a big horror event in Long Beach in July. So they'll have I think they'll have a panel there right, Ben?
Yep, that's correct.
Yep, they have a panel there, giving like just some behind the scenes and details about the film, and I believe they'll be screening the film too at this event, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
you're asking me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I'm remembering it right. So if you're going to Midsummer Scream and on the weekend of July 28th to the 30th, you'll get the opportunity to watch Saw 10 first before everyone else does. The movie officially comes out in theaters on October 27th. Oh, same day as Five Nights at Freddy's. Interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, coming from Lionsgate Twisted Pictures. And yeah, I'm intrigued to learn more about what this movie will be about, like how we're getting Tobin Bell back. I wonder how that's going to play out. But I'm excited nonetheless because I've always enjoyed the Saw films. What do you think about this news, Ben?
Oh yeah, well, I think we talked about it before when we first heard that they were making this film, right? I think we talked about this. But anyways, yeah, yep. I'm super happy about it. I'm looking forward to getting some more info on it, like who's all going to be in it, what's it going to be about. Is it like a prequel type movie? Like I don't know, but I'm just excited. I love the Saw franchise, so yeah, that's basically it. I'm hyped.
Yeah, I'm excited too. But yeah, again, go to Midsummer Scream if you want to check out the movie early, but it officially comes out on October 27th. Moving on to the next piece of news that we got this week is about a movie called It Lives Inside. And baby, you did a TikTok on this. So again, make sure y'all follow us on TikTok because we be dropping shit on there on the regular throughout the week. But it's a film titled It Lives Inside. It's a very interesting looking film because it's based in Indian culture, and it references kind of like a lot of the demon lore from that culture. So it's very different and unique in that aspect. So that's very cool. But they dropped an official poster announcing the September release of the movie. So make sure that you can either go on our TikTok, check it out, or just look it up. And it's actually a pretty good looking poster. She's standing there holding
really hard, actually.
Yeah. She's standing there holding like a jar, and it's got these different it's all black behind her, and then like a soul spotlight kind of around her with all these demonic shadow hands and a book. It looks good. But they announced that the movie is coming out on September 22nd to theaters. So very exciting there. And they did not release a new trailer accompanying this, right?
Nah.
Yeah, it's the same trailer that was out previously that we talked about. But yeah, the poster looks fire, but like, did you want to add anything else to this news?
No. What I had to say, I said on TikTok.
I tell y'all, man, TikTok is hard. We got some good stuff. All right, moving on to the next piece of news that we got. I know, babe, you were super hype about this, as was I, because we were both big fans because we was watching it when we were kids. But they announced that they're gonna, or I believe they're already released, right?
The first one has been released. The second one hasn't came out yet.
First one has been released, but they are expanding the Are You Afraid of the Dark franchise into books and graphic novels. There's two that they've already shown off, and the first one of that is released. Is it the Tell the Grave Mother?
Yeah, that's the one that's already out.
Yep. So there's two different graphic novels. They're both graphic novels, right?
Yes.
Yep. So two original Are You Afraid of the Dark stories in graphic novel form. One's already out, called The Tale of the Grave Mother. And I don't know, did they put out a release date for the other one? The other one's titled The Witch's Wings and Other Terrifying Tales.
There is a release date. I don't remember it. But, it's when you go to the listing on Amazon, it tells you when it comes out. But I can't remember what the date was.
Yep. Let's see. Actually, hold on, babe. Correction. That Tell the Grave Mother is a book.
Okay.
Yeah. So just a quick correction here, y'all. The Tale of the Grave Mother is actually a novel, and that's the one that's already out, can be purchased now. But the other book is actually a graphic novel called The Witch's Wings and Other Terrifying Tales, and it comes out on October 3rd. And you can go ahead and pre-order that if you're interested. But the cover art for both of these look really good.
They do.
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. It's cool to see. I know they had rebooted it back in 2019. Yep. So it's cool to see it get expanded to, you know, other mediums because, you know, it's a cool franchise. And the cool thing is, from this article on Joe Blow, they said that the books and the graphic novels will take the same approach as the show, where you have the Midnight Society sitting down at the fire, and they, you know, one of the members, you know, tells a tale. And the books and the graphic novels will take that same approach where someone's telling a story, and it'll kind of like, you know, you have the story and then the story within the story, and they'll kind of tie in together.
Right.
But that's cool. Like, I'm glad they're going to even keep that same premise through the books. But that's exciting. Make sure y'all check that out if you were big fans when you were kids, or if you're a new fan from, you know, the new series that dropped in 2019. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, that's exciting. Anything else you want to add, Bear?
No, that's it.
All right. So moving on to our next piece of news, y'all. This is our last piece of news, and it's actually related to From, and that's that season 3 has been confirmed, and it's official. MGM Plus has stated that they renewed the horror series for a 3rd season. The 3rd season will again be a 10-episode season. And that's pretty much it. Like, they were just kind of making the announcement that it's coming. I don't think they really gave any other details. You know, they made comments. Well, they did mention that it's coming back next year, so we won't have to wait too long. They did say 2024. But there wasn't really any other details. They said more answers. They promised more answers, but I mean, you know, they might give us 1 or 2 answers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can be anything. Yeah, y'all know how we feel about From. It's like it's been dragging. And I can only hope the 3rd season will be a little bit more aggressive in revealing information and just be a little bit more faster paced. But yeah, it's official, y'all. 3rd season's coming. It seems like a lot of people are watching the show. Based off the article,
I think it's picked up a lot.
Yeah. And apparently, it's the 2nd most viewed series in the history of the MGM Plus, premium network.
I guess that makes sense. I don't think
But then they got me wondering, what's the first one? Because I've never watched MGM Plus. I didn't even know MGM Plus was a thing until From. So right, I do wonder, well, what was the bigger? What was the bigger series? If y'all know what that is, let us know in the comments. Because I do wonder about that. But yeah, season 3, y'all, is coming. Anything else you want to add, Ben?
That's it. I mean, I kind of figured that they were going to make a 3rd season anyway. And I feel like if they had left us hanging, there would have been an uproar.
Oh yeah. If they didn't give us what they gave us, oh yeah.
Yeah. I think they had to do that. So yeah, I'm glad they're doing it.
Yep. All right, y'all. Well, that concludes the news portion of our podcast. And now we're going to jump into our main topic for this episode, which will be a super crazy and interesting one. And that is about the film that's going viral right now called The Sadness. It became like a Shudder original. It was written and directed by Rob Jabaz, and again, a Taiwanese horror film. And Shudder ended up picking it up. I guess they really liked the film, and they dropped it on Shudder as a Shudder original. But here's a quick synopsis for the movie. As Taiwan succumbs to a viral pandemic that transforms peaceful citizens into sadistic, bloodthirsty maniacs, a young couple must battle to be reunited before they too become infected. So again, it's got the kind of like a zombie vibe to it. These aren't exactly zombies, but how it spreads, this idea of the virus, and, can spread through, biting and, bodily fluids and shit like that. So it has the concept of a zombie film, but it's not quite a zombie film. Now we didn't discuss this before at all, babe. So this will be our first time actually talking about it together. Now that being said, do we want to get into spoilers on this one, or we want to keep it spoiler free?
You always ask this question, and I think I always say we should do spoilers.
Because sometimes it's hard to talk about a movie without getting into some of the spoilers.
Yes. Yeah. I think we should talk about spoilers, especially because it's not like this movie just came out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, there's your spoiler warning, y'all. If you haven't seen the film yet, go watch it. Well, I will warn you, though. It is very extreme. extreme violence, extreme gore, like is like no joke. It's like Terrifier 2 levels of destruction, and probably in some ways worse. Yeah. Yes, and essay. So just a fair warning, you know, if you're going to watch this film, I think even Shudder puts in the beginning of before the movie starts, like a warning label saying this has extreme violence and gore.
Yeah, but that warning label is not sufficient to what is in this movie.
Well, yeah, it's brutal, y'all.
To me, it's not.
It's no joke. So fair warning. So if you want to watch the movie, go watch it, and then you can come back because we'll be talking about spoilers here. So going once, going twice, that's just spoiler warning. And now we'll get into the sadness. Now I'll let you start off, babe, just, you know, saying in general what you thought about the movie, and, you know, and then we can get into like likes and dislikes and so on.
Okay. Overall thoughts. Okay, overall thoughts. This movie isn't for everyone.
No.
And
it's not.
One of those everyone's is me. This movie is not. I can do. Well, I don't prefer body horror. Like I've watched, you know, the Human Centipede and all that stuff. Like,
yeah.
But this one is just like way too much, and it just hits way too hard. So for me, this is not something I want to ever watch again, and I would not tell anyone else to watch it unless that's like you're into that type of thing. So
right. Yeah.
For me, this is not like something I will ever want to watch again in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually liked it. I actually thought it was really good. Of course you did. I thought it was good. Well, you know, I liked extreme gore stuff, man. Like, but you know, sometimes you get movies that, you know, they are extreme for the sake of just being extreme. But at least in this movie, like the extremeness actually like served the plot, the idea of the movie. It did.
Okay.
You have this virus that, you know, unlocks the really fucked up side of people, the aggression and depravity and sadistic natures. And it's like it almost reminds me of like since I mentioned The Boys earlier, they talked about like when in The Boys, when someone would take, you know, that, or they even mentioned it in Falcon the Winter Soldier, right? When someone takes like that super serum or whatever that makes them a super being, they just, like, if they're a bad person on the inside, they just that surfaces, you know, it comes to the surface. It enhances who they truly are, and it brings out the worst in them. It's kind of like with this virus too. Like, these people that have this, they got this virus, like it, you know, played into like their dark thoughts and what they really wanted to do, but just brought it to the surface, right? Because think about this, right?
I disagree with that.
But now check this out. Here's why I think that. Because the girl in that movie was immune. You know what I'm saying? The main character. Now, was it because she didn't have any, you know, like extreme darkness to her, you know what I'm saying, for the virus to really like enhance and pull out their true nature? I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but it's just something to think about. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a scene in that movie that makes me want to disagree with you, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We can talk about that later.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the movie.
But I don't know. Like, I just thought I did think it was good. I thought it was very cinematic. Like, I thought a lot of the cinematography, just the general camera work, the direction, like, was super good. I thought the performances were really good too.
Oh, heck yeah! I mean, yeah. I was in there like these people is acting the best.
Oh yeah, they did. They came, like, the people, whoever hired them, like, they got their money. Yeah. Like they showed out. Like, they were not playing no games. They were acting like it's the last movie they would ever act in ever. Because this shit was crazy. And the performances were really good. Special effects were crazy. Like, these special effects were like some of the best practical effects. I'm assuming that some of it was practical. This is some of the best practical effects I've ever seen. I was like, dang, they went ham with this shit. It looked good. But it was just cool. It was different. you know, I think it's always cool when you get different types of zombie movies. Like, cause you know, you get your slow zombies, you get your like 28 Days Later zombies or your World War Z type zombies. Night of the Living Dead zombies, where like some zombies are smart. Like, so to me, it's just a different type of zombie. You know what I'm saying? This is a super sadistic, like, I'm trying to just be like the worst type of human being ever zombie. And it was super fast paced, like pretty much at all times. Like there was no real like slow moment. There was a couple moments of, or you could breathe a little bit, but like it was always boom, 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 boom. Like it was going. I appreciated that because it kept me always like locked in at all times to see where they're going to take this thing. But yeah, it was crazy, man. Like this junk was wild, but I thought it was good. I liked it. And I'm actually, apparently this is Rob Jabaz's first feature-length film because looking at his IMDb, all he did was shorts before this. So I'm like, damn, like this is your first one? Like I'm hyped to see what you're going to do next because this shit, this is on a different level.
It was definitely on some kind of level.
Yeah. But those are some of the things I really liked about the movie. We can get to the dislikes if you want, babe.
Well, you never asked me what I like.
Oh, what you liked about it, man? I thought you kind of mentioned some of the stuff within your initial.
There's only one thing I liked about this movie.
What was that?
I wrote notes, by the way.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. The only thing I like about this movie is that they did a really good job of making you like root for the main characters, right?
Yeah, they did. I agree.
Even though we spent only like a small amount of time with them before, you know, shit starts popping off, you still kind of felt like you wanted them to win. So I think they did a really good job of making their main characters likable and, you know, wanted to see them make it to the end.
Right.
But I did want to tell you this though. Like I had read an article on iHorror, I think it was, where when they presented this film at Fantastic Fest, which is where they actually won Best Horror Film and Best Horror Director.
Cool.
In 2021. During the Q&A session, according to this article, whoever wrote this was there. During the Q&A session, like people were going ham, like they're like in an uproar about this movie, and like basically were like pissed off about it.
Wow.
Towards like the director and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting, but people didn't really, you know, vibe with it, I guess, initially. But obviously, you know, this movie is representative of, you know, a pandemic, right? Like how people react during a pandemic.
Yep.
You got like the bits and pieces of what happens when, you know, people are ignoring the information. They think it's not real. It's a hoax.
Yeah, because they had that messaging in there. Yep. With like the political aspect of it. Yep. Right.
Exactly. Don't, you know, everyone's trying to go back into their old routines again so soon. Even like when the thing happened on the train or the subway, whatever, and how people pulling out their phones and recording everything, like very, very real stuff. And he just amplified it to like 1,000.
Yep. He did. He did.
So, I mean, he did do a good job in artistically expressing this viral pandemic, right? So,
right.
I mean, I got to give him credit for that. But
yeah, absolutely.
It's just the way he went about it. It's just so extreme.
Yeah, it's very extreme.
Yeah, I think that's all I got to really say about what I liked and didn't like about it, per se. But, well, obviously, I didn't like the essay. I felt like, okay, it's similar how I felt about the essay in Soft and Quiet, where I felt like it wasn't so necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe one or two if you're going to put it in there. But it was like throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, because
I was just like, how many more of these are we going to see? Like, even the, I don't even want to talk about it, but.
Talking about the eye thing?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was just like, did he really do that?
Yeah. That jump was crazy. He did it too.
You was at work when I watched this movie, but I'm gonna tell you, I was literally like audibly gasping. Like, it was so shocking to me. Yeah. I was like, I know he ain't about to do this. And he did.
Yeah, he did it too. But see, I think that's why, like, I do like the extremeness of it, because, you know, like the virus, like, basically, like, unlocks the barrier that they have to just act out that shit, right? Because, like, and I was watching, there's this YouTuber, like, he makes, you know, the animated cartoons, like the crazy ones, Meat Canyon, and he has a second channel called Papa Meat where he talks about movies. And he talked about this movie, and he mentioned in there, which I agreed with, was like the idea that, you know, it amplifies like that, the worst in people, especially if it's like kind of already there. And like, for example, that main bad guy, the weird dude from the train, right? Like, you know, he had that moment where he's like kept trying to talk to the girl.
Yeah.
Being super weird about it. And then he got all upset when she was like, I ain't trying to talk to you. He was like calling her a bitch, and, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like, and then when he got the virus, look at how he acted, right?
That's true.
I'm going to go F this B, and I'm a, you know, do all this crazy S, you know what I'm saying, to her and the other girl. Like, you see what I'm saying? So like, because it's not like everybody was doing that, right? Like, there were some people who were doing like the essay stuff, but it wasn't every single person. Some people were just like cut people up or whatever. And so like, that's why I feel like
plays into that idea. I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought about the part where the guy, when he came onto the subway, and how he had like the tear, like, and I did read other stuff about that part too, because I felt like, oh, well, maybe he doesn't really want to do this, right? He can't control it. So I don't know. So in that situation, it's like, well, obviously he couldn't have been like an evil person to want to kill someone. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. So there you go. I see both sides of it, right?
And see, that actually lends credit to what I was saying, right? Is that even like, cause think about it, right? Think about how the dude acted when he was doing all the crazy stuff. He was super hyped about it. Like, he was like, oh, this is the best I've ever felt. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if that dude had the tear, was that his, like, that other side of him was still very strong. He didn't really want to do it. But these people that are already have that super negative aspect within them, once that barrier is gone, they're like, oh, this is the greatest ever.
Okay.
And that's how the business dude, that's how the villain dude was acting, was like, he was just loving it. You know what I'm saying?
He was.
See what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like that's what the virus did. Was it the people that were already had like really negative stuff about them? It just enhanced it and like took that barrier away, and now they just going ham.
Yeah.
And fully, like, are just, you know, going all out. Like, it is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like, I feel like it makes sense in that way when you're talking about, like, you know, especially in today's society too, like, people doing so much crazy shit and having all these mental issues. Like, I think, you know, the film has some commentary about that too. Like, you know, it's I feel like it's a lot of different things with that, but I feel like it worked though.
I guess. I knew things was going left when that girl jumped off the roof, and the camera didn't cut away.
Oh,
and
yeah, it did not cut away.
I just bounced. I was like, what this man got me watching?
Yeah, and it was crazy, man. Like, when that dude was stabbing him in the cafe, he was going ham. I was like, I ain't never seen a stabbing like this in the movie. Like, that's crazy. They got creative now. They got creative with the effects.
When the dude on the train stabbed that one dude in the neck, and big
that was hilarious.
Of blood.
That was super cartoony. I thought it was funny. I thought that part was funny.
That much blood.
Yeah. And
it's like satire, you know.
Yeah, so. Sometimes it was super over the top. Like when the dude, when that weird nerdy dude was getting cut by the girl with the saw in the hospital. Remember how much blood was spraying on that one? Like, it was a crazy amount of blood. Like,
it was a lot.
Everything. I was like, they took it super over the top.
Right.
So yeah, sometimes it's like so over the top that it's comical. Like, kind of like Terrifier 2 sometimes. Like, Terrifier 2, like, it was so over the top sometimes that it was almost funny because it was so ridiculous. And so this movie has some moments, like very few, you know what I'm saying, but some. Going into dislikes, I feel like the only thing I didn't really like was the ending. That's about the only thing I didn't like.
The ending either. Yeah. And I was like, what the heck? It didn't feel like an ending.
And because here's a couple things I didn't like. Like, one, I didn't understand how long it would take for the virus to take effect, because the boyfriend ended up becoming infected. But like,
which broke my heart. I was
that was super sad. But I guess the movie's trying to be very realistic,
It's like, come on, Jim. He only had a little bit further to go.
Oh, he was so close. But I'm saying, like, it was a pretty big amount of time between his last interaction with anybody that was infected to that point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, why does it take so long for him to get infected? Because some of these people look like they get infected instantly.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand that piece, because I was like, well, how did he get infected? And it's been that much time. And then he had that weird moment where he like saw that body in the water. I didn't really get what that was. Maybe it was just the infection taking over, and he's like seeing stuff. I don't know, but it was like at that point when he kind of turned was when he saw that weird demon looking thing in the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea of it being realistic in the sense of like, well, not everybody makes it, but I don't know. I think it would have been more fun if they would have made it and then got out. And I feel like the movie also implied that the girlfriend didn't make it either.
She didn't.
She got shot.
She got shot, but. Did it seem like she was turning at the end to you?
Like how she was responding to him?
Because because it seemed like she was crying, but then it started seeming like she was laughing.
I gotta go back and watch it.
And then she ran out, and then she got shot.
Ooh, okay, so you're saying. So like she wasn't actually immune.
Because that's how it seemed to me. I was like, is she turning? And I thought she was gonna get, I thought they were gonna take her or whatever. Whoever was coming on the heli, I thought they were gonna take her and she was gonna infect some other people, but obviously that didn't happen. But it appeared to me as though she was actually changing, because during that interaction, she seemed like she was upset, but then all of a sudden it seemed like she was crying.
Right.
I mean, not laughing. It seemed like she was laughing, and then she ran out and. Even her body changed when she walked through the door. Like she stood up straight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember that part. Yeah, she did do that. Yep.
Yeah.
I just thought she was pausing for a moment to look out there, but maybe you're right. Maybe she was like fully turned by that point, and so they shot her.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay, that actually makes sense. I'm gonna go watch that part again, because I don't remember I can't remember her laughing, but that's actually a good point, bro. Yep.
But yeah, it was sad. No, I don't like movies without happy.
Yeah, I know you don't.
So when Jim came through that door, I was like, ah!
Yep. And he was talking super crazy when they were in between that gate.
Yeah, he was. It seemed like he was normal for a second, then all of a sudden he's like, I want to peel your skin off and all this carrying on.
Cut stuff off and all this stuff. Yeah, I was like, oh, nah, he go. I thought they might, because at first I thought they might do something like that, where it's like, oh, maybe like they might go with like an angle of like, like love can overcome it type of thing. And they're like, nah, we're not going there. Yeah. They took it left and just stayed left. They never brought it back. they never brought it back ever.
No. I see. I had something else that I had wrote down.
What you got, bro?
What was it? Oh yeah. This is in regards to the essay, because that hit me the most.
Right. That is very. I will say they don't ever actually show it. A lot of it's
that's what I was
implied.
Say.
A lot of it's implied. So you're filling in the gap with your mind. Yeah.
You took my point, because I had read some posts about how people compared it to the Serbian film, but that's what makes it that movie, because it's not. It's like suggested, but you don't actually like see. So
it's not a film you actually see.
Yeah. So that is not like that at all.
Yep.
It's just a lot of it.
Right.
It's just like, oh, you thought we weren't gonna put no more in here? Here we go.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I did want to point that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gore was gorying in this
yeah,
movie.
the gore was
like
crazy.
The ripping, like was like ripping the skin, like
yeah. Even the effects of like, push people's eyes in, like the eye gouging and like this.
It was just,
oh man, remember the dude's face that was at the basketball court?
Oh yes, that joke was like so huge.
The effects were I'm telling you, man, the effects of this movie was crazy. Like this should win an award if it didn't for
it was
like the
definitely
best effects. Because I was like, these effects are. I don't know what the budget for the movie was, but these effects were on point. I will say though, he did make me laugh, and he was like, "Why'd you scare him off?" Like,
I was about to bust.
I laughed at that part. I thought.
Of
that was
course, you
funny.
laughed. Yeah. I was just like, "What the heck is going on?"
He completely lost his mind. No,
it's just terrible.
Yeah, but that's the sadness, y'all. It's crazy. Well, any final thoughts on it, baby?
Final thoughts: don't watch this movie.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I think what threw me off is that you presented to me as a zombie movie. You said it was gory, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, regular zombie movies are gory. Yeah. And so, because I trusted you.
Well, I mean, technically it's a zombie movie.
I didn't expect it to be like it was.
Yeah.
I think I texted you. When you was at work. I was like, I'm so mad at you right now.
No, I know.
It stressed me out.
Yeah, I know. But it is a zombie movie. Like it's just a different kind. It's just a different type. It's a different type of zombie. And these zombies are, because it still spreads the same way. But these zombies are just crazy as hell. But you're right. This movie is not for everybody. And you got to be able to put up with extreme violence, extreme gore, and implied SA. You got to be able to put up with all of that. But I do think the movie is very well made. Like, it looks great. It was shot great. The effects are incredible. The music, I actually really like the music too. There were some moments when the music was hidden. I was like, damn, especially in the beginning when they had a little like CG thing with the virus. Like, that music was fire.
Mm-hmm. That whole first intro part up to the title card. Yeah, that was legit.
Was hard. So the dude that made the music, like, he made some good music too. But yeah, that's our thoughts, y'all, on The Sadness. If you do want to watch it and you do think you can get through it, it's on Shudder. Again, called The Sadness. Check it out. It is Taiwanese film, so you will have to throw on the subtitles if you don't speak the language. But honestly, like, it's not too bad. Like, there's an insane amount of dialogue, so you can kind of you won't miss anything because the subtitles are going too fast or anything like that. Because sometimes you do watch movies where, like, especially like those mystery, like detective movies or something, like from a foreign country, where they're talking really fast and you're like, you got to pause to keep up with the subtitles. But yeah, go check it out if you're interested. But fair warning, like, it is a lot. So just make sure that you're prepared, and we don't say we didn't warn you if you do go into watching The Sadness. But if you've seen it, let us know in the comments what you thought about it. I am curious to see what others are thinking about it. I've seen good comments and I've seen negative comments, so I'm curious of what y'all, our listeners, are thinking about The Sadness. So let us know in the comments. So now we'll move on to the last part of our podcast, and that is the From Season 2 finale review, and we'll give you our thoughts. And as always with this part of the podcast, and this is the last time we're doing this for From until Season 3 comes out, this is a spoiler review. So if you have not watched the season finale, which I'm sure by now you probably have, but just in case you haven't watched it yet, you don't want to be spoiled, go watch it and come back and join us in the conversation, because we are going to give away all the spoilery details, especially the end of the finale, which is super crazy. But going once, going twice, that's your spoiler warning. And now we'll get into the From Season 2 finale review. And I always ask this, babe, but do we want to just jump into the details, or you want to give a off the top think about it?
We can jump into the details and give our thoughts at the end.
Okay, all right, y'all. Well, let's do what we typically do and give a step-by-step, a play-by-play of the season finale. So, actually, did you want to take the lead on this? I know you literally just watched it. I know you don't like when I do that, but it's going to be way on your mind than it is on mine.
All right, yeah, I got you.
Because I'm gonna be like, oh, what happened on this part? You know, like remember that one episode where I couldn't. Sometimes,
yeah, I remember.
You're like, oh, that didn't happen right there, and I'm like, oh, yeah. So you go ahead, babe. You take the lead.
All right, so we finally made it to the season finale.
We made it, y'all.
The episode opens up with Jade on the porch, and you can hear the cicadas in the background. This is pretty much an ongoing normal occurrence at this point. Kristie and Kenny meet Boyd inside Mrs. Lou's house to see about Julie. So, in the last episode, we ended with all three, Julie, Mari, and Randall, getting overtaken. Mm-hmm. And so they're here to see about Julie. Mrs. Lou took Ethan to the diner or something like that, so he's not there. Jade points out to Boyd that they were having this conversation, right? He was talking about how, there's so many pieces to the puzzle, right? And there's so much that we just don't know. And he's like, if only we could get like two things that go together to make some sense. And then we can kind of go out from there, like how a puzzle, putting it together, right? Trying to find whatever can go together first to get you something that works things out. Yep. And Boyd does the most frustrating thing, like he always does, and he just walks away. He doesn't say anything. Like, you know what, Jay, you right. We should definitely do that. How about we go see such and such, and let's do that. He doesn't do that. He just walks away.
That's what he always does every time.
Boyd's like turns to Kenny. He's like, I'm gonna go talk to Sarah. That's it. So he just walks away. In the next scene, Donna, Dale, and Elgin, they're driving in the van towards the RV to look for Randall. So, he's still out in the woods. So they find him in the same state as Julie and Mari. They thought at first, the Dale dude was like, oh, he's not dead, and then they open up his eyeballs and
starts screaming.
And at the same time he does this, Kristie's she's back at the house looking at Julie, and she does the same thing, right? Like trying to open her eyes, she starts screaming. Yep. And then at Colony House, then Mari starts screaming, so they all screaming at the same time. Yep. Then we go back to Boyd and Sarah and Kenny. Kenny is kind of like following Boyd around this whole episode.
It kind of is. Yep.
He's like tagging along for everything, and I kind of feel like he wants to help, right? He kind of had his little outburst with Sarah, but ultimately, he wants to do something to help everybody. Right. So he's following behind Boyd, even though Boyd is not really like telling stuff. But in this scene, he starts talking right to Sarah. He's like spelling out things to her. They're trying to figure out, what about the boy in white? What do you remember about this? Did you hear about the nursery rhyme? He's trying to put pieces together.
Right.
So Boyd takes him to where he saw Martin in that little building thing, whatever, the brick thing. And while they're there, Sarah's like, oh, I can hear the music box playing. But, Kenny and Boyd, they can't hear anything. It's just only her.
Right.
And she kind of like starts reacting to it. She's trying to go to where the sound is coming from. And then she starts screaming. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like her nose starts bleeding, and she starts to repeat that first part of the rhyme about the three. And they try to like take her from there because she's flipping out. But then she's like, no, I don't want to go. She's like hearing a voice in her head or something like that. And then she's relaying it back to Boyd. And she's telling him like, oh, they're laughing at you for setting it free. And they want to make us suffer. And he's trying to ask her like, well, how do I stop this? And she says like, the three are going to die. And when they die, it's going to be too late. So you have to make the music stop. Yep. So now he's like, okay, trying to figure out, well, how is he going to do that?
Yep.
Back at the Colony House, Tilly is sitting in a circle with some of the housemates, and they're saying either a prayer or scripture, one of them. Mm-hmm. I think she's saying the Psalms 23 scripture, I think. Yeah. Now, this particular scene makes me think for sure Tilly got something to do with this. Like, I don't know, it just seems really weird.
She's like always like the main character or something.
She's always in something weird. Yeah. Something weird is going on, she in it, you know? I don't know. But I'm like, I gotta keep my eye on Tilly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll end up bringing her back because they do always kind of, even if she's not the focus, it's like she'll be like a background focus almost. Right. You know? Yeah, it feels weird.
We think it's a background, but I think she really got something cooking up, you know? Right. Especially after last episode when she recognized that Fatima was pregnant. Yeah. I was like, Tilly.
Yeah, something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, and so then Donna's telling Matthias to lock up the guns. You know, yep. She's like, you know, trying to keep everyone safe, so she feels it'd be better if the guns are locked up. Yep. All right, so in the next scene, Tabby, you know, she's there at the house with Julie, and she's just, you know, very upset, and she feels as though she needs to do something. She tells Jim, you know, I have to go figure out something. She tells him about Victor's mother and how she was going to the tower to try to help save the kids. And she thinks it's connected to what's happening with Julie. And she feels as though if she doesn't go to this tower, then she's not going to be able to help her. Yep. You know, he's not upset, but he's like telling her like, well, when Victor's mother went, she never came back. And I don't want the same thing to happen to you. Yep. And during this scene, I actually don't vibe with Jim right here because when stuff was happening earlier, he was quick to go off and do this, do that, do that. And he never came to Tabitha and was like, I need to do this. He would just go off and go do stuff. Yep. She heard through the grapevine and he down here and over there somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she trying to do something to save her child and you giving her resistance. And I'm like, I think I like the dynamic between Tabitha and Victor are way better this season than between her and Jim. Jim is trash. I don't care what nobody say. Like Jim, he could get gone. Yeah, this whole season I just felt like he was like, he was doing too much dumb stuff. And he wasn't supporting or taking care of his family. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like I think in a way though, it's like in the same room.
Well, I think at the same time, like he is trying to do stuff for his family because he's trying to get them out of there. You know what I'm saying?
He's trying to get them out of there, but he's going about it in the most insane ways of doing it.
Well, everybody is, because no one ever talks about stuff. That's always the big problem.
Yeah. But unlike everyone else, he has a wife and kids.
Yeah. He do got to have better balance, but I do think that he is doing it for his family because he wants to get them out.
I get that.
I do think that's why he's doing it ultimately. Yeah.
I get that. In this scene, like I said, I feel like he should have been more listen better to Tabitha because she supported him when he was doing whatever he was doing. She did the same thing for her. Anyway, so she asks Victor if he knows the way to the tower, and you know he tells her about the bottle tree, which is a drawing. He shows her a drawing of a tree with bottles hanging off the branches, and he tells her, you know, you can go through this tree to get to the tower. And she asks him to take her there. And the next scene, Kenny is talking to Boyd, you know, about finding the music box, and Boyd's like, "Well, we just need to go back to town." Like in this, it wasn't a very significant scene, really. No. It was just more so, you know, Kenny's like, "We need to do this right now." You know, this needs to be done because he's kind of, you know, over the shit. He's like, if this is what we need to do, then we need to do it right while we're here. But Boyd, he doesn't really understand at this moment how to do it right. Yep. So that's what happens there.
That's right.
Back at the colony house, Ellis has a little heart to heart. He thinks with Reggie. Reggie seems, you know, distracted and lost, and Ellis is trying to talk to him, trying to help him out. And he walks away. And then Fatima comes to him and she's like, look, let's just get married. We don't know what the future holds. Like, let's not wait. Let's just do it. And that's what they do. They decide to get married. And the next scene, Jade is at the bar. He's breaking up glass bottles and stuff like that because he's saying he needs to do this to kind of like help him think and gives him a different way of looking at things. While he's doing this, he sees Tom. His name Tom?
Yep, I think so.
The old bar guy that died. Yeah, he sees him and, he's talking to him kind of very, reminiscent of when Boyd and Father Khatri, he was seeing Father Khatri, very similar dynamic. And he encourages him to go into the tunnels to get a better understanding of what the symbol means. Mm-hmm. That's basically what that scene was about. Then we go to the sheriff's office where Sarah and Boyd are, and she asks him if he buried Paula. He's forgotten because he got so much stuff on his mind. And so she's like, well, I'll take care of it. Yep. And she kind of encourages him. And she's like, I know you're doing the best you can.
Yep.
Whatever.
You got a lot going on.
Yeah. He's definitely going through a lot.
Yep.
In the next scene, we get like a little turn right here, a little turn of events.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's locking up the guns, and Reggie comes in and he slashes his throat.
Yep. He lost his mind completely.
Oh my dang,
Reggie! Yeah, he lost his mind completely. Like just completely lost it.
Throat, left the man for dead, took a gun, and he was gone.
Lost it completely.
I was like, I didn't see that coming at all. Like that was a really good one.
Yep, I didn't see it coming either.
So in the next scene, Jade is heading to the tunnels. You see him have his little rope trying to make sure he can get back. Yep. He's talking to himself because he's actually scared, which I would be too. So, you can tell he's very scared of what might happen going inside of the tunnels. Yep. But he does go in. And when he gets in there, he sees the dummy from last season. Yep. Like on some rocks. And it was like a really good jump scare because I was like, the way he like whipped around, it was just like, woo. Yep. So that was unexpected. What'd you think about that scene?
You're talking about how the dummy was just there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still kind of like out of left field.
Yeah, it was a surprise. I don't remember where it was. I don't remember where it was sitting on the last season. I did wonder if it moved to like a different spot. I don't know what the significance of the dummy is, but it is interesting.
I felt like it was in that room before where they saw like the little opening and like all the stuff.
So they moved it.
Up, so it was in a different area. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the next scene, Boyd goes into the church. He starts talking to God, and he's calling him an asshole, and he was like, Father Khatri had faith in you. He felt like that, there was a purpose and a plan for his life, and yet he's gone now. Yep. He's dead. And then he said this one thing. He was like, I ain't here to pray. Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty hard. But he was, basically trying to ask God why this is happening. Yep. Why is he the one that, bearing all of this, right? All this weight to try to save everyone, get everyone out. I thought that he did a good job in this scene. His monologues are usually pretty good, but this one was really good.
Yeah, this one was a good one. I agree.
Yeah. And he like kicks down like the mailbox thing that they were using. Yeah. Yep. And Donna walks in. She kind of like makes a joke about it. She's like, I think that's like
that's a federal crime. You just committed right there.
Tries to help him out. Calm him down a little bit.
Lighten the mood a little bit.
Lighten the mood. Yeah, because he's really going through it right now.
Oh, yeah. He's going through it.
And then Kristie, she is with Mari in the next scene. And Kenny comes in to check on them, I guess. And she's like, depressed and upset. She's just like, is this how it's going to end for us? She also talked about a plan and a purpose as well, and how she thought that when she saw Mari come, she believed that there was some sort of purpose or some sort of plan.
Right.
And she's like, now she feels it's like, we're all just here to die. There's no reason for us being here. And then Kenny kind of took a little spin to it, and it was basically saying like, well, what we're doing now might not help us get home, but it could help, the people that come after us get home quicker or whatever.
Yep.
So he tried to, give her some different perspective, I guess, in that. But yeah, you get the vibe throughout this whole episode. Everyone is kind of like expecting to die at this point.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
because, I mean, you can't stay awake forever, and if going to sleep, look at you over here yawning. Going to sleep is gonna kill you. You know, how can you escape that? You know, so
right.
At this point, everyone's kind of feeling defeated, as you know, in a way. So then Boyd tells Donna what Sarah told him out in the forest, right? So like the 3 people are dying, that something is waiting for them to go to sleep so that they can die.
Yep.
And he tells her that she saw Abby and that it was him that bought something back when he got like the worms and stuff from Martin. You know, he's the one that bought that into the town.
Yep.
Donna tells him about Ellis getting married, and you know, she's like, you know, stop being a martyr. Just take time to come witness this, and then we can get back to it after that.
Yep.
You know, he's
just
like, well, I'm not gonna give up.
Ellis. Yep.
Yep. Then we go back to Jay, who's in the tunnels. And while he's walking through the tunnels, he sees like the kids that, you know, Tabby's been seeing all this time. And they're like in a circle. Right. They're repeating that word. And he like looks up and he sees like an opening up above. It's got like the things, like the symbol thing in it. And then he looks back down and the kids are gone. Yep. And then he looks back up and the opening is closed now. So he's getting some kind of vision that's related to kind of what, you know, Tabitha was
maybe might have originally happened or something like that.
Right, exactly.
Also is.
So then Victor is taking Tabby to the bottle tree, and she's asking him, you know, more questions about his mom and how she was planning to save the children. So she kind of gets, I guess, an idea of what to do or whatever when she gets where she's going.
Right.
He noticed that the tree, when he gets there, he's like, it wasn't there before. And I kind of thought about how he was talking about how the trees were moving. So possibly the tree moved. I don't know.
Yep.
He talks about how he found her body near the tree and that she never made it to the tree. Yep. Now I will say, well, I'll go back to this later. I'll try to make a note of that. Anyways, he tells her, that his mom said that the bottle tree was special and this is the tree that was going to take her to the tower. And she kind of got onto it because she knew that Julie had, you know, gone through the tree before when Victor tried to help them get out of Colony House. And it was a really sweet moment when Victor gave her his lunchbox. He had packed snacks for her.
Yep.
I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
But
you know, to me, like I feel like he almost sees her as like a motherly figure.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like she's definitely like taking him under her wing, and he feels that, and kind of like even the little hug they had, he's like, oh, this was so sweet moment.
Yep.
Yeah, so she goes into the tree and she comes out into the wooded area, and as soon as she turns the corner, she sees the tower of the lighthouse.
Yep.
Before. I don't know. I kind of got goosebumps on that part.
Yeah,
only because,
Yeah, because you didn't know what to expect. You know,
you didn't know what to expect, right? Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen, and it was kind of like, I'm sure, validating for her to have, because she's had all these visions and all this kind of stuff. She really didn't know for sure what was going to happen when she went through this tree. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was a good little moment. Then we see Fatima and Ellis get married.
This junk was a long scene too. Good gracious.
It was a long scene.
Yeah.
And because it was just them, I was like, what is all this necessary? It's not like they had a full-fledged wedding.
Which I thought was weird too. Like, why didn't he invite other people?
From the colony, I didn't get that either. Like, they in the house with these people.
Yep.
But I guess she wanted to be a, private moment between the two of them, I guess. Yep. While they are, saying their vows and all that kind of stuff, Boyd gets an idea. He repeats himself, light in dark places, and he leaves. And again, he doesn't turn to Donna and say, I just had a thought.
He just leaves.
He just leaves. Why does he keep doing this?
This is weird. Like, why don't you just say like what you're doing?
It's annoying.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
Weird, but yeah.
In the next scene, we see Ethan talking to Jim about dying. And he's like, maybe it won't be so bad because, we'll be there with grandma and grandpa, whoever,
right.
That's all that happens.
Yep. Ain't much more to say about that one.
Yeah. All right. So in the next scene, we see Boyd getting the torch that he had when he came out of the building thing the first time out of the truck, back of the truck.
I don't know how he thought of that, but that was good.
I don't know how he thought about it either, but I'm glad he did.
Yep.
Reggie rolls up on him when he's coming out the truck and he got the gun. He's basically blaming Boyd for what happened to Paula, right? He's like, all this happened because of you. And did he say you bought something out of the forest? Did he say that? I feel like he might have said that, but why would he say that if that's what he said? Okay, maybe he didn't say that. I think he probably said it started happening when you came back.
Yeah, you're right. He said everything started happening when you went into the forest.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Okay, now that makes more sense. Yeah. Yep. All right. So, yeah, he gets all upset and he's like, I'm sorry, I like you, but I got, I got to go.
Yep.
So he shoots Boyd.
How do you even know he was over there? Like, how did he find him so easily?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Unless he followed him. He could have followed him from Colony House.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so he shoots him he gets him in the shoulder, and then Boyd fires back. He kills him. Reggie's dead now. So he takes the torch back to the area where he saw Martin. He lights it, and then the place reappears. The place that was there before. And he can hear the music box playing, and he sees all three of Julie, Mari, and Randall chained up on the thing.
Yep.
And this made me think too, because when he was in there first, it was only Martin chained up, right?
Yep.
So I was wondering if there's a Martin somewhere that was, in the same kind of predicament as Julie, Mari, and Randall, since their bodies were actually, where they were.
I feel like it's weird with that though. It's Martin seemed fully coherent. Those three looked
True.
They weren't even
That's
aware
true.
of what was around them,
Yeah, that's very true. You're right.
So it's a little weird.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So he sees all people, and then he looks for the box so he can destroy it. But then, right before he does, here comes his little ghost Abby.
Yep. She's
trying to convince him not to do it, right? She's like, everyone's gonna die anyway, or they might not die today, but they might die tomorrow. There's no point in you doing it, right? And then she talks about how it's your hope that feeds the forest and not your fear. And she's like, let's let it go, And he's like, man, F that.
I will say, this part was crazy because some of the dialogue that they were saying, because she was saying how, look, he's going to, I don't know if she used the word he or it, is going to, be really upset or whatever. And then he said something
why is he letting you?
Yeah, he just let you come down here to come talk to me?
Yeah.
And she was because, it feeds off of hope or whatever. I thought that was super interesting. I was like, whoa. So this is to me, it's okay, we got this main entity.
Some main entity, right?
God,
exactly.
Some sort of God type of thing. And, it's you can go talk to him because he pissing me off. Shit gonna get worse. Because he basically said, oh, if you do this, this shit about to get real, essentially.
Yeah.
It's kind of what she I don't know. I thought that part was weird. I was like, oh, so there's a main thing. It's a God of some sort. You know what I'm saying? This Ankuni thing, whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but he said finished because he said F it, and then they did the slow mo scene of him destroying
it. Right, yeah, it's the slow mo.
The dildo.
Yeah, he destroys the box. Yay! And then everybody wakes up. Mari, Julie, and Randall wake up. I thought it was funny that, well, it's not funny because it was reality of Randall as a character, right? How he woke up by himself and everyone else had somebody there by the bedside. And then Boyd is yelling at the air again. He's you can't break me.
Randomly there.
And then he sees the dog again. I was thinking to myself, I was like, I hate these folks don't got cell phones, you know what I'm saying? communicate with each other, like they woke up or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or tell Julie to come back because not Julie, Tabby to come back because Julie's awake, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so in the next scene, Julie's awake and Jim is trying to, help her feel better. And Ethan takes a moment of pause and he's like, oh, the cicadas have stopped. Like the noises stopped.
Yeah, they're not buzzing anymore. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then Julie asks, where's Tabby? And I was like, she just not realizing that she ain't there.
Right. Yep. There's my mama at.
So then we go to Tabby when she is climbing the tower steps.
Yep.
And she hears, the little whispering of whatever voices or whatever.
Yep.
And she gets to the top. And the kid in white says, I'm sorry. He shows up while she gets up there. And he's like, I'm sorry, but this is the only way. And he pushes her out.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was not expecting that. I was like, what the beep?
Oh, and I also want to point out when she's up there and you can kind of see, there's mountains all around where they are, right? So it's like they're in this cavern, cavern within mountains. So they're completely surrounded by
it seems like
big hills and stuff, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, so he pushes her out the daggone window, the glass at the top of the daggone lighthouse.
Yep.
And then she wakes up in a hospital room. And the doctor's like, oh, you were found in the woods by some hikers. And, she's freaking out because now she's back in the real world.
Yep.
And how the heck she going to get back to Jim and the kids,
Yep.
So she's looking out the window and you can see she really back somewhere in a regular city, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when she looks in the window, did her reflection look different to you?
I didn't think I paid any mind. I don't think I paid any attention to it. I think back and look at it.
It did. Well, since I take notes when I'm watching this stuff, I kind of try to pay attention to small details of stuff. But when she was looking in her you could see a reflection back at her.
Right.
It didn't look like Tabby.
It looked like something else.
It the hair color looked different. It didn't look black. It looked blondish or something. Oh. I don't know. Go back and look at that.
You have to look at it. I'm not sure. Okay.
Yeah. But her waking up in the hospital made me think that, okay, well, the whole thing about them possibly being dead can't be true.
Which is good, because I thought that would have been stupid. Where I did that with trying to go back there, that's dumb.
Yeah, so that was good to know. And then when she's going up the steps in the tower, they had the toys there, and I kind of thought about Eloise.
Yep.
And what if her mom didn't make it, but Eloise, maybe she pushed Eloise through the tree.
All right. Yep. Because that would be cool.
And maybe she got out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I thought, well, that would be cool because if she got out, I don't know how they would find each other, but they could possibly find each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? In the next season. You don't know his last name, though, I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe she technically does and just never talked about it, but yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Because I know she has Victor's lunchbox. So I was wondering, maybe she might see her with it or something like that.
Yes, I'm going to happen with that. You know it is. Yep.
Yeah. But anyways, I was thrown aback when he pushed her out the house.
Yep.
I will say, I thought it was a good ending.
Yeah, I did like that ending. I like that part of it.
I like that ending way more than the ending of season 1 when they had that bus pull up and it just ended like
that. Oh, yeah, that was stupid. That was a horrible ending. I agree.
So this one was way better ending. And I do feel as though we still don't know everything, but we got a lot more to work with.
Yep.
I hate that it took 10 episodes was to get a lot, as much as we got, but still, I thought it was a good conclusion to the finale.
I think the finale was good. I did like I would say I like more so the last 20 minutes of it. I didn't like a lot of build up. It's kind of but I did like the last 20 minutes. Like that was like super interesting. I do hate that it like took that long to get to some really interesting stuff. Like so much dragging out. I'm really hoping that season 3 is not as dragged out as this one was, but ain't no telling. But I do like that we finally are like got something with some substance, some meat to be like, okay, like how does this fit? Like what's going on? I do like that aspect, and I do think they ended, at least the ending of the season was better than season 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like she's back in the real world. She's gonna have to try to find a way to get back to them. She's probably gonna track down Luis. The bad part is, the family on the inside, they're gonna be like thinking they don't know what happened to their mom. She ain't gonna ever come back. That's gonna be a whole thing. I do wonder like what escalation this god or entity or whatever is gonna have for the town now. Like what's gonna be the next level up? Because now, okay, you broke my music box, took the people, like now I'm pissed. Now I'm about to go ham. And I wonder what that's gonna look like for the town. Like that's gonna be super interesting and gives us the opportunity. I don't know if they'll do it, but to get like more horror back into the show because it's been lacking. It was lacking in like season 2.
Yeah, but I had to go and dig around, try to see what people thought about it.
Yeah,
what their theories were, and so one of the ones that I came across that I felt like made the most sense was in regards to things being done in cycles. So I didn't catch this, but in the video I watched, they said that on the steps, there were like markings of years. And they felt as though the years had to do with when these massacres, like the one that Victor talked about, occurred.
Okay.
And so they happen in like certain cycles.
Okay.
And as a way to kind of like feed this area with like blood. Like, I guess it needs, this amount of blood in order to, I don't know, do what it does.
Right.
It was kind of connecting it to what's going on around them too. Like, Victor talked about how it's always like feels like summer, but then now everything looks like it's dying, right? Mm-hmm. Like the leaves are dying, plants are dying, the food is sparse, stuff like that. And now it needs to have another massacre to occur in order for it to be thrive.
Right, that makes sense.
And so the 3 thing in this person's theory, because they didn't do it, now it's going to have to happen sooner. Like this massacre is going to have to occur sooner or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
But I don't know how that part ties, but everything else to me, made sense, right? Like having, cycles of things and needing to have some kind of like sacrifice or whatever.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And they also tied that sacrifice thing into the kids, and that whole like ritual type thing.
I feel like that was like the initial summoning or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they related the circle to Tilly being in the circle in that one scene where she was praying or whatever.
I don't understand that though.
Well, if she's a part of it, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe the kids are related. She's always talking about how she got all these kids. I don't know. But either way, you should dabble into some of the different theories people have about it.
Yeah, I got to watch some videos on it. I saw one theory of like different horror simulations. Like I saw somewhere saying, like that maybe Tabitha's on level 2 of the simulation or something, like something crazy like that.
Wow. That would be insane.
I didn't dig into the theory yet to figure out the reasoning behind it, but this idea of like, she's reached the next level or something crazy like that. Yeah, but there's a lot of potential for different ideas. Definitely got to check out some different ones because now we actually have something to. Yeah, we see that's the thing though. Now we got something to actually go and make crazy theories off of, but they weren't really giving us that very much throughout the season. And now we're at the end, and now we got something to actually use. But I guess it is what it is.
Right.
Yep. But any last thoughts on it, baby?
That's it. I look forward to season 3.
Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. My computer's messing up here.
No.
Okay. But yeah, no, I look forward to the season 3 as well. As 2024 is when it's coming. They didn't give us a time frame yet, but even though I didn't like the whole season, like I will say the finale did make me kind of regain some of that excitement for the next season. But I will say, if we get into that 3rd season and it starts to those first few episodes are going real slow, I might fall off. Like, I'm just waiting for the whole thing to drop, and then I'm gonna go watch it. Because I just can't do it, man. Okay. It was frustrating. I was frustrated sometimes. I'm like, man, this junk is dragging, and I'm getting excited week to week for no reason at all.
Yeah, it did drag, unfortunately. Yeah.
But
look forward to it.
Yeah, we'll see. 2024, y'all. But that was our thoughts on the season finale. Let us know in the comments what y'all thought about the season finale. What are some of your ideas and theories for season 3? And then what are some of your favorite moments from the 2nd season? But that concludes this episode of the In Love with Horror podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to the entire episode. If you made it this far, we talked about some great topics. It was a really good podcast episode. It always is. As always, baby, I'm glad I got to sit here and talk with you on another episode.
You're so sweet. I enjoyed it too, baby.
Yeah, always, baby, always. But hey, make sure y'all are following us on all of our social channels. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on TikTok, IG, Twitter, all that stuff. And also visit our website, inlovewithhorror.com. We got some dope merch on there. And of course, that supports us in the podcast as well. Again, thank y'all so much for tuning into this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.